Now, the interesting thing was that while we're in post, they hired publicists, a guy by the name of Jeffrey Wells, somebody you might want to talk to. Jeffrey Wells lived in California, and he was trying to come up with an angle for how to publicize his sequel. So he came up with various angles, and one of his angles was American kids are obsessed with Freddy Krueger, and we all went, ha ha ha, very funny. But he had found a few articles somewhere or other that said that kids were getting dressed up as Freddy for Halloween, or that kids were dressing up as Freddy and going to screenings of Nightmare on Elm Street, a la the Rocky Horror Show or something like that. And so he kind of thought this was a good angle to try to promote. And I think that he actually didn't think that it was an angle, that I think he actually thought it was happening.
It was definitely happening in a nascent, sort of low-level way. I was just reading some letters when I was sitting at the New Line office, and they just made mention of Freddy being this kind of hip, cool, sort of ironic, wink-wink, cult figure, if you will. There was, I guess, the wink-wink part came obviously because he was venal and homicidal and evil, but there was just kind of this posturing that some people were taking that was kind of cool to be into him, whatever that meant ultimately. But that was something I definitely was picking up in letters. I don't remember ever seeing anything in print, but I just remember seeing stuff written. Particularly one letter I remember coming from, I think it was some students at Columbia who were kind of expressing this thing. So really that was it. That was the seed of it. So based upon that, where there's smoke, there's fire, where there's one indication, there are 100 others. I called around and tried to find any theaters that had ever heard of people coming by and dressing up as Freddy. And I envisioned there would be something along the lines, maybe some nascent beginnings of a kind of a quasi-Rocky Horror Picture Show thing at, I guess, midnight showings of the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
And he actually set up a screening of Nightmare on Elm Street and invited the press and said, with the idea that Freddy impersonators would show up. And he hired some people to be Freddy impersonators. And a few people came along who weren't hired by him. And so we thought, well, maybe there's something going on here.
I think there was one particular moment when, on Halloween night, 85? It wasn't 84. In which we got Robert Englund to get his Freddy Krueger makeup on, and we went in the Halloween parade from the Village all the way up to, I think it was 34th Street, and then going across and then down. The one thing we didn't have a light on him, which we should have, but it was cool because a lot of people recognized it. I thought it was one of the most fun things I've ever done because he was waving and people were saying, "Yo, Freddy," and there was a real New York moment, to have him kind of, we basically walked about, 5 or 6 miles. It was a lot of fun.
On a non-intellectual level, Freddy's the logo for the whole experience. Freddy's this sort of great silhouetted logo with the claw and his posture and his thrust pelvic walk, and the snap brim hat and the tattered sweater, and there's a certain sexual threat there. But he becomes the logo. What he represents, I don't really know. I mean, I think, on an intellectual level, he's certainly a contemporary boogeyman, and probably represents all that's disgusting and evil that you have to confront in the world. Hey, it's time to move out. It's time to be a grown-up. It's time to get laid. It's time to, pay your own bills. He's what's coming in life. And life's not fair, and a lot of suburban teenagers have been so coddled, and the 80s was sort of the zenith for that. There's a great, phenomenal, someday if I ever have a wall big enough for it, I'm going to get it. It's going to be the only piece of Freddy memorabilia that I'm really going to display. There's a great French poster, and it's this one story, sort of soft focus, classic early 1960s European version of the American tract suburban house. It's not the tract suburban house of today that's a little boutiqued up, but it's the real plain, hard-edged one. We're sort of looking at it and you're very low angle and everything, and there's a lot of sky, and coming out of the sky is the claw, and it's this great poster, and that really sort of sums up what I think. I think that Freddy is the evil coming to pollute suburbia and coming back. You can't escape evil. You can't hide from it. It's everywhere.